Hey there. So it is time to get on checkpoint two, source and note cards. It is time to take all of this, what is my question going to be, and start to roll up your sleeves and dig right into the actual research that you're going to do. And if you're looking at this, I would not be surprised if your reaction to this is, oh my God, Mr. Tush, there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a bunch of files here. And when you see it, it's going to have even more files because it's going to have this movie attached to it. So you're like, oh, what am I going to do? Well, fear not. I'm going to take you through the process. The process I'm going to take you through is this process right here. This is the research process. I'm going to take you through this entire thing, and I've got a slideshow, so breathe deep. You don't have to deal with this image yet. I just want you to understand that that's what we're building right now. So let me go to my slideshow. Let me show you what we're looking at so you don't have to no hyperventilating, okay? So here's what I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume you can't be doing this until you've done your capstone proposal and it's been approved, and that your inquiry questions are done. If that's been done, all of that has happened, and if that's ready to go, then we're going to go on to checkpoint two, source and note cards. And I'm going to open up my Google slideshow, and I'm going to present. And what's the first thing it tells me to do? It says view the overview video. So right now, you're already doing the first thing you had to do, which was view the overview video. Well done. So good work. Now, the next thing you have to do is you're going to have to research. You're going to have to go back to the Connecticut State Library, and you're going to have to find your sources. Now, you're going to need a total of 5. But if you take the first 5 articles and you submit them, you're going to end up having to go back. Most people have to look at 15 or 20 articles and pick the 5 they use. That is normal. You're going to look at 15 or 20. You're going to get rid of 2/3 of them, 3/4 of them, and you're going to take the 5 that really help you out. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to the Connecticut State Library right down here. Remember this? And you're going to go to EBSCO or to Explora, and you're going to find it. When you have a source that you think you like, that you think it's on topic, the first 2 questions you have to ask yourself first is it credible? This is old hat for you. I think you know what credible sources is. We've been beating that up for years and years and years. But because you're doing a topical project that you're narrowing yourself, this question becomes even more important, or just as important. Is it relevant? If your topic is global warming, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of articles that are current and well-researched, but not all of them are going to be relevant. If your article is about how is commercial fishing affecting the fish population and infecting the ecosystem of fish, let's say that was your project and you were doing a lot of work around that. That's a great topic. If you found an article about the best places to fish in Maine, that's probably not relevant because that doesn't talk about commercial fishermen. It just is a general article about fishing. If you're struggling with something, whether it's relevant, I have help for you. So watch what I'm going to show you. We have this thing, hang on, let's go back to it right here. We have this thing called organizing note cards. Now, I'm going to do an activity with this next Thursday. So make sure you have 2 of your sources done for Thursday. We're going to go through that together. But I want to open this up because this is a little pre-exercise that we're going to do ready for next week. And that is, the claim is all expectant mothers should get free health care. If that were a research question, we might say, how can all expectant we get free health care or better health care for all expectant mothers? Now, let's say we've got a piece of evidence from an article that says mothers need all types of prenatal care before and during their pregnancy. Maybe that's okay. Maybe it's because it is talking about mothers and healthcare, right? And it's mothers and healthcare, right? But you also have to say free healthcare. Why should it be free? Because that's your claim. Okay, this one. Without proper healthcare, mothers and children at risk for pregnancy complications, and not all mothers can afford this. Wow, this is absolutely there. Talks about healthcare, what happens if they don't get it, and so now we've brought the whole why it should be free question right into it. So that's a good one. Let's take a look at the next one. It is the father's responsibility to take care of a mother and child. You may happen to believe that. I do too. Fathers should get involved in their children's lives. However, why is this a no? Not because that's not true, but because the question is, should expectant mothers get free health care? This is about parental responsibility. That's an important topic, but that's not your topic. The topic you picked is, well, you didn't, but you know what I mean. Our sample topic was expected mothers should get free healthcare. So make sure it's relevant. Make sure it answers a specific inquiry question. Because in fact, you're going to list your cards, your sources on a source cards form. Now look what it says, source cards form, and I put that in quotes. Why did I put that in quotes? Because guess what? Source cards, ding, 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 source cards. So we're going to write here for source cards. And the source cards, don't worry about which card you pick first. Your first source that you decide is relevant, that's your source one. And you're going to put the title of the article, the URL, which is this domain address up here. So you can find it again, the author, the date published, all of that's going to be clearly listed. Is this source credible, and explain why? You have to say it's credible because. You can just say, yeah. You have to tell me why. And then for every one of your sources, you have to answer this SIQ, the specific inquiry question. What do you mean specific? What's my specific inquiry question? I'll give you a second. You think about it. Did you do this? Maybe you guessed it. If you guessed a question from this sheet, you would be right. It is, in fact, a question from this sheet. So if you've done your research question, your major overarching research problem, and then you've got your 5, 6, 7 questions underneath it, you simply can take the source card, put in all the information which you copy and paste in, and then when you go over to the SIQ, you go over to your SIQ sheet and you say, oh, that's right on my question number 4. You copy the whole thing. Of course, there's going to be a lot of writing there. You copy it and you paste it right there. And you're golden. It's a beautiful thing. Rock and roll, okay? So let's go with that. Now, let's say you've got your 5 sources, and they're digital, so storing them isn't a problem. And if you're in the library, I think there's a flagging system you can use in there. But if you save the URLs, you save the titles, going back and finding them again in the state library isn't a problem. Because this is why you've got time to do this. By Thursday next week, within a week from this video, I need you to have at least two of the next steps done, which is you have to read source number 1. You have to read actively. I would actually, maybe print it and handwrite on it if you can print it home, or make marks in a PDF. You could download it as a PDF, or just use any kind of software that allows you to mark it, or put it into Google Classroom and mark it in a Google Doc. But just read actively, take notes, grab your notes. A lot of you guys do well with handwritten notes, but I need 4 to 6 notes minimum. And where am I going to put those 4 to 6 notes? Look what it says, source card 1. So source 1 gets source card 1. What's source card 1, Mr. Tush? Guess what? We have source cards. Let's go right back to it. Hang on. Checkpoint 2. Look what we have. Notes cards for source 1. Note cards for source 2, source 3, source 4, source 5. I don't know why Google Classroom put those out of order, but it did. Go to source card 1. So you're going to go to evidence right here on source 1. You're going to say evidence. 1 or 2 consecutive sentences. You could pull it right out of the article itself. You can also make notes. A lot of times, the really, really good papers, you will see the person put in a copy paste from the article, and then they'll drop in their annotations using the comment feature. And so if you have info right here, you can go right in here and click on it and use the comment feature just like I do. I recommend you do something like that. But this is where you do the active reading. So I'm reading it. Ooh, that's good information. Copy, paste. This is good information because of. And then look what you have to do again. Connect the dots, connect the dots, connect the dots. You're going to hear me say connect the dots all the time. You have to connect this evidence. It addresses a specific inquiry question. Trust me when I tell you, when you're done with this at the end, you're going to be like, oh my God, this made my life so much easier. Write down your evidence and connect it to a specific inquiry question. So whichever one of these this connects to, connect it there. You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave you 4, 5, 6. 4 to 6, at least 2 pages per source. All right. If you're only getting one piece of information from it, then call it source 6 and go get another source, because I want 5 at least 5 sources where you get at least 4 to 6 quotes from 5 sources, 4 to 6 pieces of specific evidence coming out of that on your project. So I go ahead and I read it for source 1. It's going to take me a while. And then I do it for source 2. And then I pick source 3 and I do it for source 3. Read it, put it on the note cards, and we can move on. Read it, put it on the note cards, and we can move on. Read it, put it on the note cards, and we can move on. This whole thing has to be done by the due date on the assignment. For this year, 2021, it is due on, let's show it to you. It will be due on February 18th. So be ready to rock and roll by February 18th. The other thing to realize is at least 2 articles are due by February 11th. You have to have 2 articles. You will be graded on 2 articles by February 11th. Just be aware of that. I will make it an assignment for checkpoint 2 that 2 articles are ready to go on February 11th. It's going to show up in your Google Strength. So 2 by February 11th, the rest by February 18th. All right, ready to rock and roll. Good luck, and thanks for watching.